Hey there, boys and girls of the YouTube world. On this week's video, we're going to take my dad's 1966 Buick Skylark and we're going to remove the original headlights and we're going to swap in some RetroBrights by Holley. So this thing's been sitting in my garage ever since the last time we had it on a video where we took the original little puny C-clip rear axle and we swapped in a sweet quick performance 9-inch.
Well, we found the weakest link, huh?
Sure enough, Mojo's right. There's our culprit.
And the other thing that we want to do with this thing, since we're going to put a ton of miles on this thing and we're driving it at night and it gets dark before we want to be home, we're going to take the original T3 headlights out or whatever they had, basically 40s technology that's in this thing, and we're going to swap in some Holley RetroBright illumination. Go for a ride. This thing will fire right up. The old 6-liter is always ready to purr. Turn the key on, get our Terminator X system fired up, get our pump primed. Oh yeah. Take her outside. We're gonna run her out in front of the shop. We're gonna get a baseline on these headlights before we swap them. I love how you could have rode up front with me, but you automatically go to the back thinking I'm your chauffeur. You're a silly pup. Let's turn on these stock headlights. They're not terrible. That's the low beam. There's the high beams. We drove this thing a ton in the dark on the trip down and back from Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's not, I mean, horrendous. It's about what they were in 1966. But these headlights that are in here, I'm pretty sure like in the late 30s or for sure by the late 40s is when they went to this halogen style light. So I mean, even if you go 1953, which is really lenient, to 2003, these are 70-year-old technology that we're running in these headlights. So, the good folks at Holley, we checked out their RetroBrights when we were down in Bowling Green. I said, I need me a set of those. So, let's run her up to the garage door. We'll put a little mark in the snow and hopefully don't get snowed over before we leave. Or before we get her done, because she's gonna snow a bunch tonight. That's what they're telling me, up to 9 inches. All right, I'm gonna do some before and after stuff. You all right hanging out here, or you want out? He says, I just want to ride. All right, Mr. Duff, here you go. Tell you what, I take way too good a care of you. All right, put a mark in the snow right there. This is where the middle of our tire's at. Look good? About the center of that tote of scrap iron. There's our lows. There's our highs. High, low, low, high. What? That's right. Man, that hooker exhaust. Full 3-inch all the way out the back sounds good. Well, we got this thing in the big shop. Let's take a look at the Holley RetroBright lights that they sent us. I'm hoping you just basically take out the original lights, plug these ones in, easy peasy lemon squeezy, but maybe we got to do a little bit of wiring to upgrade the original stuff. So let's take a look. So here they are, Holley RetroBright high performance LED lights. Since this thing has 2 low beams and then 2 that are high beams, and then the low beams also light up as high beams, we need 4 lights. See if we get a part number on these sons of guns. I'm guessing there is. Oh, there's your Prop 65 logo. LFRB 145. Is that our part number? LFRB 145. All right. I'm guessing that's our part number. LFRB 145. Let's see what we got in here. Yeah. Well, you can scan it if you know how to run a smartphone. You get your technical resources and whatnot. Do not skip. Determine the corresponding wires on the vehicle's harness with a circuit tester multimeter to confirm which batteries are low beam, high beam, and ground. So obviously your ground is going to be your ground. Your low beam is going to have power at both low and high. And your high beam is going to only have power on high, I believe. All right. So we got to go ahead and do a little research, and then it looks like the plug is exactly the same. so it should be just plug and play, hopefully. Hook this to the back of the Holley light here. The thing I like about these things is they look OEM. On the outside, it looks just like your standard halogen beam, other than it says Holley in the middle. They're not the bug eyes, or what they call them, spider eyes, I guess somebody called the ones on my 80 Ford. Yeah, I don't really care for that. So we just plug this onto there, and then we use these spades, push them in this clip once we get figured out where our colors are. And I suppose if you luck out and your colors line up just the way that they are on there versus here, you can plug that right into your stock harness. That'd be pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
I guess it's time to get a multimeter out.
Duff, you gonna open the hood on this thing?
Oh, you're a good pup. So I guess the first thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to unplug the original headlights. Should be able to get right through here, but we gotta take them out anyway, so I think we're gonna take the whole headlight out, and we're gonna probe that connector. Son of a biscuit. Wagner. That's a Phillips. No label on that one, and that outside one's a GE. Both those look like they're GEs. So no original T3s in this thing at 80. Well, it's about 90,000 miles now, I think. What are you smelling on me, you goon? All right, back to work. Let's start with the driver's side, mainly because it's closer to the battery, so we don't have to unravel our power probe quite as far to probe all these connectors. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the bezel here, which there's a handful of Phillips screws. I'm gonna try not to drop those down the floor drain, but you know how that goes. And then once we get the headlight bezel off, there should be a trim ring around each one, and I believe those are flat head screws. I don't know why they use Phillips on the bezel, and they use flat on the headlight retaining rings, but that's what they did, so it is what it is. Oh, that cover has these off. I do. Why would I? I don't remember having a bad headlight on this thing. There we go. 3 screws. One might have been missing. Yep, definitely should have had a 4th screw. 2 long ones on the bottom, or the top, and 2 short ones on the bottom. Sure enough, flathead screws. I don't know why they did that, because you gotta use the Phillips to take them off. Why they wouldn't just have them all as Phillips. These are tiny little machine screws. You don't want to lose these because they're kind of hard to find. Just that little guy right there.
He's just a little guy.
I think you only got to take 2 of them out. And then there would be a 3rd one, but where that 3rd one is, there's a spring that retains this retainer. Sure enough, spring loaded. Slide that out of the way. Layer down there. Like I said, there's a spring that's holding it. Pull this guy out of here. This is our low beam, or a dual beam, because it's both low and high. You can tell by the way that it is.
Because of the way it is.
And it's got 3 prongs. So one's gonna be ground, one's gonna be low beam power, and one's gonna be high beam power. Let's find that out right now.
All right, man, where were we?
Let's hook up our power probe. Definitely not a paid sponsor, but these things are way good. And there's mouse poop on the battery, so that means we had mice in our garage this winter. That's awesome.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
And one of these should have ground, or all of them. All of them have ground, right meow.
Am I saying meow?
So it looks like we got 2 greens, a brown, and a black. If I was a betting man, black would be ground, brown is gonna be our low beam, and green is gonna be high beam. I think that's a good guess, Duff. Guess we'll find out. Car is currently on the low beams, black, shows ground. I'm guessing tan should show 12 volts. So tan is our low beam, and nothing on green. So green is gonna be our high. Let's take this one off of there. I'm guessing that one's gonna have green, so it's only got power at high beam, and then black, which is opposite ground. From there you can tell that this is a high beam only light because it's only got 2 prongs on there. And then again, it's got black for ground, and then green is our high beam. Holley gives us this handy dandy little cheat sheet, so let's label these guys. Tan, green, black. That is negative. Tan is our low, green is our high. And then on our 2-pin, green, black, which is our negative, and green is our high. So on the H4 connector, it looks like red is our high, blue is our low, and black is our ground. According to this guy, let's start with our high, low, whatever, dual function light. Black is where it needs to be. Blue is the low beam. And then red over here is the high beam, so it should just be a plug and play on that guy right there. So let's just hook that up, get her done did. And then let's clock it so that Holley is facing horizontal to the world. And there's a little, what do you want to call it, groove right there, tab, nubbin, noggin, whatever, goes in that slot in the headlight bucket. So it pretty much has to go that direction. I shouldn't say that. I've seen people somehow manage to get headlights in upside down. Now we're gonna put our flathead screws in there without dropping them into the door pan. I know, I need to get a cover over that, but we wash a lot of stuff, so I don't want to cover over it because we spend more time washing than we do working over it. We need something that's best of both worlds. Something that lets water through, but keeps 10 millimeters from going down into the deep abyss. There is definitely still spark plug socket in that floor drain. Dang it. Remind me to fish my 13/16 spark plug socket out of the floor drain. This is why you never work over a floor drain. All right, we're gonna definitely test this out before I put the other one in. Make sure you do the flat screws because the Phillips screws around the perimeter are for your adjustments, which this thing's probably gonna need some adjusting because I'm sure it hasn't been adjusted for many moons. You got lows over there, Duff? Oh yeah. How about the high beam? Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Look at that. That one light is brighter than both the originals, it looks like. I'm gonna get excited about this stuff. You might want to step back. All right, let's get the high beam in there. Check this thing out again. So on this one, I think we just gotta flip it around. Instead of the ground being over there and the power being over here, we just flip her. It should be right. Or we spin this connector upside down. That'd probably work too. So you're not gonna be using that low beam connection. It's just gonna be hanging out there in the open. Sure, harness doesn't get pinched by anything. You're gonna rub through. Holley made this so easy. Even a caveman could do it. Cue the air compressor. All right, let's give her another trial run. Oh yeah, look at how much brighter that is, Duff. Way good, not even comparable. Put our surround back in place. Now we just gotta go do the same thing on the other side. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, Duffers? You gonna help with this side now? No? You just want some ear scratches? I gotcha. This old girl was kind of getting a black eye to her, but she's still awake. We better double check to make sure they work before I get too crazy putting everything back together. Got our high beams. Everything appears to be working as it should, so let's button this thing up. We're gonna wait till it's a little bit nicer out to adjust them. If you guys want to see a video on how to adjust headlights, there's probably one that's better than anything we would make on the internet already, but if you want one, comment down below that you want to see us adjust some headlights in a more Mortske repair video, and we will most definitely do that for you. We got a few in the yard. That's the thing, when you make a vehicle awesome and lower it, your headlights come out of alignment. So not only do you got to align your wheels, you got to align the headlight beams. Did you know that it used to be mandatory in the state of South Dakota to adjust your headlights as part of their vehicle inspection? Probably a lot of states that way. There's probably states that are still that way, but it's interesting to me because in North Dakota we never have had to do that I'm aware of anyway. There you have it. It took me probably a whopping 25 minutes, and that was with filming, so easy peasy lemon squeezy, right Duff up, I guess? Yeah. Let's back this thing outside and see how she looks now. Hopefully the snow didn't cover our mark. All right, let's take it outside and give her a comparison. Nobody's washed that windshield since October, I don't think. Oh yeah. Snow's coming down pretty good. Where's our mark at? Right there. Oh, I can already tell that's way better. That's on low beam. Looks like we gotta adjust them up just a hair, but this isn't level ground. The shop sits higher than where we are. So there's our lows. Man, there's our highs. What a difference. Low, high. Tell you what, that is impressive. This thing is gonna be ready for all the late night cruising this summer. We go do some snow donuts. It likes it. Tuck her back in for the winter. You don't have problems with snow getting under your garage doors in the southern states, do you? Must be nice. Well, there you have it, folks. In just a few short minutes, we took the standard halogen beams that this 1966 Buick Skylark of my dad's came factory equipped with, and we swapped it out with some Holley RetroBrights. I haven't driven this thing yet, other than from the shop to the garage, but I can tell you what, they are well worth the money. Whatever you spend on lights to avoid hitting a deer or anything else at night, it makes just driving these cars so much more enjoyable, because you're not worried about getting home before dark, you're not worried about being able to see after dark. Well worth it. Check them out. Holley RetroBright. All right, that's it for this week. So remember, no matter how you get it done, as long as you're having fun. I like when kits like this just operate in bolt-in kits that actually bolt in. Way good. On to the next one. What are we gonna do now? Should we put the disc brakes in the front of this thing? Yeah, I suppose.